So in this video, I want to cover the one thing that you have to protect if you're on this journey of entrepreneurship, making money online as a Muslim. A lot of people will have a lot of things to say. People who you know physically, right? They're in your social circle. Some people who you know through family, right? They might be family. And when you're doing something different to what the average person does, most people are going to have things to say about it and they're going to have views about it. Now, for a lot of my life, I would always listen to people who were number one in my social circle, and I would also remember being swayed by people who sounded smart, right? And so whenever I would know somebody like that, I remember believing what they said, just believing it, just taking it to be fact, 100% truth. And I remember reflecting upon this, how I was not happy and satisfied with the situation that I was in. But when I look back and I saw whose opinions and rules and views I was following, all of those people may have sounded smart, they may have been successful in one area of life, which was in the corporate world, but they didn't have the outcome that I wanted. And so I spent a whole load of time listening to people who did not share the same goals as me and did not want the same things out of life as me and did not want to be on the same path as I did. Yet this is the danger of being surrounded by people who are misaligned with your goal. And so the one thing that you have to protect when you're on this journey, because it's going to be a tough journey and it's going to be a different journey from most people that you know in your physical circle. You have to protect your mind space. You have to only take views from people who are where you want to be. You cannot, and I cannot stress this enough, you cannot listen to people who do not want the same things in life as you. They will tarnish, they will completely destroy your goals. And what they'll do actually is, the way they'll destroy your goals is not purposefully. They're not trying to mean you harm. They're actually probably good people. The way they'll destroy your goals is by changing your perspectives. They'll change your goals. They'll change what you deem to be right and wrong. They may say certain things like, this is imbalanced, right? Like, you need to have some kind of work-life balance. You can't just do this for the rest of your life. It's not scalable. Oh yeah, you know, I've seen these things online and it's all fake because my dada or my friend or whatever, he got scammed by doing this thing, right? Those things, you may not seem, or you may not think that they actually have an effect on you, but when you are surrounded by people who only hold that one view and you don't spend your time with people who have the outcome that you want, like, this is such an important point. Look at the outcome, look at the lives that people live, look at if they have what you want, and then based on that, take their advice. Just like if someone is fat, right? Absolutely obese, and they're giving you fitness advice, you wouldn't find it weird if you said, you know what, this makes no sense. Like, why am I listening to this person? They don't know what it means to be fit and healthy. That wouldn't be weird, right? We need to take the same approach when it comes to entrepreneurship, business, making money online. It's all the same. If you have not run a business, if you have not made money online, if you haven't made 10, 15, 20, 50, 100K a month, I don't care what you have to say. And I know that sounds harsh. You can do this respectfully, but be very wary of whose ideas you listen to, because like a cancer, they will destroy any potential that you have, right? I've been burnt by this in the past, and it's why I'm very selective on whose ideas I let around me. And generally speaking, I like to spend time with people who hold the same views as me and who have accomplished more than me in the thing that I want to accomplish, right? There is nothing more valuable than I would say that comes from joining communities, paying for mentorships, all of these things that you see online, which most people deem as a scam. I would say the number one benefit out of everything that they teach you and anything that you get from that is the network, the people that you're surrounded by, because being around those people will change the way that you think, right? I just remember, I remember how weird I found it that somebody could actually make money online. That was like such an alien concept to me, and I just thought everything was a scam. And then slowly but surely, because I was around people who were doing that became normal. Then I started to get around people who were making 10, 15K a month. And it's like, before that would have, like, what do you mean 10, 15K a month? And slowly but surely, as you increase your network and you get more opportunities, you're around people who are making 1 million, 500K a month. And you realize that there is a world out there where people are doing things which you want to do and achieving things which most people will never dream of. The number one way they do that is by firstly not having limiting beliefs around the thing. If they don't believe it's possible, they won't take the actions necessary to actually achieve that thing, right? And one of the biggest things which actually dictate how much money you can make is the opportunity vehicle you're in. That's a separate topic. The point of this video is to emphasize protecting your mental space as much as possible when it comes to entrepreneurship, your career, what you want to achieve, making money, all of those things. Protecting that from people who are not on the same mission as you, who don't have that outcome that you want, and who don't have the same values as you do. This can also happen when you're an entrepreneur, right? Like you're a Muslim entrepreneur, or you want to make money online, or you want to go down that path. But then you're surrounded by people who don't care about the halal and haram aspect of business and making money online. What will slowly happen, right? At the end of the day, you are upon the religion of your friends, right? So what's going to happen? You're going to get swayed by things. And that's why having practicing brothers who want to achieve absolute, like they want to reach new levels in this dunya while also pleasing Allah. This is the single most important thing that you can do, is get around people who have the outcome that you want, right? Surround yourself with them, understand how they think, understand how they act, understand what they deem to be normal and, not normal, and good and bad, right? Obviously, Quran and Sunnah dictates good and bad, but I'm saying in terms of lifestyle and habits, you want to think like the people who have the outcome that you have, because those people, their beliefs, the way they thought, had an effect on their actions. Those actions, through the fadl of Allah, dictated what they got out of it, right? If you're not making the money that you want to make, you're in the wrong vehicle, you're doing something wrong, right? And this goes for me too right now. Like, I have goals that I want to achieve. I'm not there yet. That means I'm doing something wrong, which means I'm going to need to change my behavior to align myself and correct myself in the direction that I want to be in, right? So, a very long-winded way of saying this, if somebody gives you advice, especially I'm speaking right now about making money online, being successful in this world, making money in general, being wealthy, but they don't hold the same values as you do, and they don't have the output, the outcome that you want, right? If they themselves are not making 50K a month and they're not doing it in a halal way, or they don't have remote freedom, which is what you want, right? Like, you want to be able to move countries, don't listen to their advice, right? Like, that's not bad. There's nothing wrong with that. You can listen to it, as in you can hear it, but don't act upon their advice, because they don't have what you want. They're on a completely different mission as you, right? I could go and speak to somebody who is a doctor, for example, a Muslim doctor, for example, and he's happy with his life. Alhamdulillah, Allahumma barik, may Allah increase him. But I don't want to be that. So he might be making 100K, 200K, 300K a year, whatever it may be, but I don't want to live that life. So I'm not going to act upon his advice. I don't care how smart he is. I don't care what he's achieved. I don't care, right? Same way, if people are in the corporate world, right, they're going to have different views when it comes to working their way up. They see it normal to work for 5 years and then get an increase in your salary, which is about 5, 10, 15%, and then do the same thing and do that for the rest of your life, and save money as much as you can, and only go on holidays once a year, and that is their way and their view on building wealth. That is the most depressing thing to me. I feel sick when I think about that, right? And that's why I left that world. That's why I ended up spending more time with people who are on the same mission as me, right? And what's really weird about this is that your views only start to change when you're exposed to people who are doing what you want to do. They're achieving what you're actually wanting to achieve. And that's when you start to look back at your life and the views of the people around you, and you start to think, you know what, this is actually disgusting. I don't want this life. I want to be able to move and make hijrah. I want to be able to work from a laptop. I want to be able to print money. I want to be able to make more than 30K a year. Like, what is this, right? And that only happens when you surround yourself with the right people. Being exposed is one thing, right? Like, we'll see a lot of things online, but spending days messaging people, being around that, you know, in that environment where you're physically connected with these brothers, you start to think like they do. And that's what you want. You want to think like the people who are where you want to be. I mean, this concept goes straight back to the religion as well. If you spend time with righteous friends, you will think like they think. They will be more conscious of Allah Azza wa Jal. When time comes to do sin, those brothers will have fear of Allah Azza wa Jal. How they think, their iman will stop them from doing those things, right? Through Allah's permission. And so you want to be around people like that in deen, and same goes for business, entrepreneurship, making money online. You want to be around people who have achieved what you want, because then you can take their advice, right? If someone is on the same path as me and they're making more money than me and they have the outcome that I want, I'm going to listen to your advice, buddy, because you know what you're doing, right? I might not be there yet, for example, right? You have the outcome that I want, which means you have done something right, which means if I just follow you and your ways of thinking, there's a higher likelihood of me seeing success. Is anything guaranteed in life? Absolutely not. We tie our camel, we trust in Allah, we make dua. But if you're taking advice from people who don't have the outcome that you want, that's a very stupid thing to do. So the gauge for who you should take advice from, especially when it comes to business, entrepreneurship, is look at whether or not they actually have the outcome that you're looking for. And if they don't, you can hear the advice, right, out of respect, but do not act upon it, because it is going to set you back years and potentially prevent you from ever achieving your goals. Because by definition, those people have no idea what it means to live the life that you want to live. This life is short. The purpose of this dunya is not to achieve material success, it's to please Allah Azza wa Jal. But I truly believe that being successful in this from a monetary perspective allows you or gives you an opportunity to get very close to Allah Azza wa Jal by making a difference in this ummah. And if that is the goal, which is a huge goal, you have to be very, very protective of that goal. And one of the biggest things that's going to tarnish and destroy that is where your headspace is at. How you think is how you're going to act. Those actions are going to dictate where you end up, right? I thought this was an important lesson because it's one of the biggest things that I've seen as I move away from my previous way of thinking, the corporate life, to now seeing a small level of success in this online, make money online, entrepreneurship kind of world, sales, all of that kind of stuff. These are the biggest kind of aha moments that I've had, is I cannot listen to people who don't have the outcome that I want, and I will not listen to those people. Hopefully that was helpful. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.